Welcome to the Sunday afternoon mystery show. It is up to you to determine how all of these elements are related to today's video. Actually, I think I'm going to have to start getting rid of some of these because there's too many things here. We're definitely going to need some nature journaling supplies, that's for sure. And I promised that I would be nature journaling with some of the tools that I suck at. And yes, I know that if you've been watching the Nature Journal show for a while, you would be like, Marley, how could you say that you suck at something? That's not the type of mindset language that you usually talk about. Well, you're correct. So when I say that I suck at some of these tools, what I mean is I don't have much experience with them, and I don't have maybe some type of innate disposition towards some of those. It is true. I think, I do believe in the growth mindset for sure, but I also do think that there's certain, drawing or nature journaling tools that someone's personality, something just about that person works well with certain drawing tools and not with others. So that could be part of it. And the other part of it is just things that we don't practice very much. So I'm going to take a few of those for me, and I'm going to do some nature journaling with those, and you'll get an idea of what it looks like to kind of struggle through something, a material that you're not so used to. Yes, this will be part of the video as well. Hopefully we'll have time. But first, I should probably start getting rid of some of these prompts that are covering up my nature journal. I don't think I'm going to, add onto the difficulty of using tools that I'm not as good at. I don't think I'm going to add to that the difficulty of a subject that could be challenging. So as much as I love this dried up artichoke flower, I don't think that I'm going to use this as my main subject today. I also don't think I'm going to use this 2 million-year-old turtle turd. It's probably just a little bit too boring in some ways, shape-wise. So I'm going to get rid of those two things. I also think that this crab is really cute and all of that, but this crab has been in a lot of Nature Journal show episodes already. Hopefully some of you have probably already drawn this crab, so that's going to have to go. I think I'm going to also have to get rid of this gourd, even though it is really good for back massage. Oh, yeah. So that leaves us with some plants. This is a carnivorous plant that I Nature Journal the other day for the Inktober Nature Journal carnivorous plant prompt. And I do have some animal remains here of various sorts. So I'm going to save those, definitely use those. And I'll keep this orchid too, because these long lines look like they would be fun to draw with some of the tools that I'm using today that, in my opinion, many of these tools take control away from you. So you have less control when you're drawing them. And I feel like there's certain things in nature that are more fun to draw when you don't have control. So the things that I like to draw when I don't have as much control over my drawing tool are things that have these kind of crazy patterns to them, or sort of a pattern, a general pattern that has a lot of leeway for your kind of creative expression, or those sort of accidents that could happen when you're using a tool that might have a little bit less control than the tools that you're used to. So on the opposite end of the spectrum would probably be something like these microns, where it's like every single mark that you make with this tool is going to be pretty similar, compared to a tool like this, where I'm going to be dipping it into a jar of ink and then taking it out and drawing for a little bit and then having to dip it back in. All right, so let's just get everything started to actually do the demo now. One thing I also want to point out is I got these because I'm going to have to eat a bunch of these right now, but this is the thing I'm going to use for mixing my ink in. And this is just a drink that I got, a Thai tea drink that I got while I was at the Asian market buying these mochis. So I got to eat some of those real quick, and then I will be able to set this up for my painting. Let me see if I have my knife here. So there's probably other things like this that you shop for on a regular basis that could be a really good art supply. And if it's something that tastes good, then it gives you an excuse to eat that thing, just so that you can have a really convenient mixing area. I hope the sound from this doesn't sound all crazy on the microphone. So I'm just gonna eat all of these real quick. Clean it out, and then that way, yum. That way I'll have an area to mix my ink. So you can see this is like not super heavy duty. Dang, now you could see that I wasn't eating them while I was just hiding them in this bowl. I don't think I could eat 8 of these all at once. Anyways, if I tried. This type of plastic isn't amazing, but suddenly the natural light came. This type of plastic isn't the best, but it'll definitely work for a couple tries. I'll show you the other type of mochi. If you get the mochi that's like mochi ice cream, it'll come in this plastic right here. And this plastic is really good. I've used this like basically as a palette. This plastic, it's kind of crazy that this is one single-use plastic. So if you ever eat something that comes in anything like this, maybe even your eggs could be in a good one. This is what those frozen mochis come in. I highly recommend this. It's worth eating 6 mochis just to get this thing for painting. These mochis are good too. The plastic's not quite as good, but I'm going to use that. I'm just going to wipe it out real quick. And this is probably one of the things that people could practice the most with ink is creating graded washes. So like, for example, I could put my darkest black into here and then make each one of these slightly lighter. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to eat another mochi. Okay, so I have 2 types of ink, and one is waterproof, so I can do watercolor over this, and the other one is not waterproof, just water soluble, and this is the one that usually is used. This is a sumi ink, so it's used for like calligraphy and stuff like that on brushes. I think I'm just going to use this one. Wow, it's hard to eat those mochis and talk at the same time. They're really glutinous. Maybe what I'll do is I'll do a little bit of both. If I want to be more scientific, I could use a little bit of both. And black ink is always way stronger than you expect. It's crazy. So be prepared to like ruin your clothing or spill it in places you weren't expecting. So I actually have these 2 things here to help me transfer ink. This is a syringe that someone gave me for refilling like fountain pens or something like that, refilling the cartridges. It's a good way because you can actually measure how much you're using, but it's always way stronger than you think. So I'm just going to take a teeny little bit of the sumi ink and put that one on the top. See, that's way more than I want. So I'm just going to start with like 2 little drops here. It's kind of plugged up. This is dangerous. Okay, there we go. 2 little. It's plugged up, so I'm really afraid of like squirting it out all crazy. Oh, there it went. Just squirted out. Okay, there we go. That's probably enough of that. Now I just need to clean this. So I have my little other thing over here with water. And then I think I'm just going to put this as my like diluted one here. And then suck up a little bit more water here. And one more time. That last one might be way too light for anything, but we will see. Okay. Now I'm going to take this one, which is the waterproof one, the carbon ink, carbon platinum. This is the one that I use in my Fude Demonin. I'm just going to put a couple drops. Whoa. Okay. A couple drops there. Now I'm going to get water. Just a little bit. Now I'm going to get more water. So this is mainly what I'm going to use when I use a brush. And I'm also going to potentially use it for, oops, that's not even going to be anything. But at least that was this very scientific. That's the most scientific way I've ever done that before. I can't believe that. Okay, so that is mainly going to be for using with a brush. And that's something that I've hardly ever done is just take, I've used this brush a little bit for watercolor. Mostly, you probably all know that mostly the brushes that I use are just these all the time for watercolor, even if I'm doing work at home. But occasionally I will use this. This is like my one, this is basically the only watercolor brush that I had. And I think this is actually like a low end decent brush. So it's not like $200 or something. And then this is one that I just picked up today, which is more like low end medium quality brush, or even less than that. And this is sort of like the size that a lot of comic book artists use, going straight into ink like this or straight into the pure ink. And that's something that I've hardly ever done, and I want to practice more. So those are the things that these are the things that I struggle with drawing straight with the ink like that. And then I'm also going to practice with the dip pen. And I got two different quills here. I can't remember the names of them right now. I mean, they have some stuff written into them, but I try not to work. I think that this is like a globe point right here. And then this one is a, I don't know what those ones are called, speedball, some type of speedball. I'm going to adapt the light. It looks like the light's gotten a little bit weird since the outside the sun came out. It was super stormy. So I'm going to put up my sunshade real quick and then continue with the video. Meanwhile, type into the comments where you are watching from. It's always cool to hear from people where they are tuning in from. I'll say hi to who I see here. I see Leslie just joined in. Esteban is here from Costa Rica. Good to see you, Esteban. Terry is here. CB is here. Alexandra, Jean, Debbie. Hi, everybody. Awesome to be here. I'm going to go ahead and open up my these things. They definitely have some, not ideal ingredients in them, but I love Thai iced tea. I always get it when I go to like the Asian market. Obviously, you can make your own at home, but this was like convenience because I was out here buying these supplies, these drawing tools that I suck at. And while I was doing that, I picked up a little reward for myself. So for lunch, I'm basically going to drink this, which has 570 grams of sugar. And then I'm going to eat these mochis. So balanced meal, but probably exactly what I need since I'm going to be drawing with tools that I suck at. And just remember, I am using that sort of as a joke, using those terms as a joke. And here you can see, whoa, that's a little bit too dark. If you're following along with the Inktober, that today is to use an ink tool you aren't used to. And that's what I'm doing because I don't really think that we suck at things usually. What it probably means is something that we're not used to, or we haven't practiced very much. So these are the ones that I haven't practiced very much. So let's see how we're going to fit this in here. Also, if you can, save one of those because they're amazing. More on that later. Another pro tip is as soon as you're done taking ink out, close the ink. I have knocked over and spilled a whole one of these before on my floor right before I had a meeting with my landlady. Luckily, I have wood floor, and I immediately started wiping it up with a ton of paper towels, and it ended up not staining the floor, which was amazing. Maybe that's because this was the water soluble one, and this carbon ink might not fare that well. Ooh, Marilyn is here too from Oregon. Okay, so let's make space here. Hopefully you have something at home that you're going to try today that you don't use, a material that you don't use very frequently. And for your subject, you can do anything. So you don't have to do the same subject matter as me. Maybe you have something at home to work from, or even I would say for this prompt, working from your imagination could be cool. Wow, I'm noticing that I did not do a very good job of cleaning my orchid leaves. Wow. So anything that you want to, it could be from a photo, it could be whatever. I would say take liberties on the subject matter part, because the most important thing is practicing materials that we aren't used to. And when I do that, I usually kind of give myself more leeway around the subject matter. So I think first to warm up with, I actually am just going to go for the bigger brush and start with some of these pale washes. There's something about starting with pale stuff that I think can assuage the perfectionist in you and assuage or kind of present you with a battle plan for how to deal with the blank page, because the blank page is always sort of a hazard for artists, and it's especially so if you're trying something maybe that you're not used to or you're scared of. So when that is the case, one thing you can do is start with gray, so or any pale value. You know, I've seen these. You've seen me use these Tombow pins before. The only Tombow pins I own are these really pale values. I just went through the entire rack and chose the palest ones that I could find. One is a warm sort of peach color, and the other one is, I would say maybe a warm gray, but I tried to get sort of this variation, but they're both really pale values. And sometimes just getting some pale lines down on the page can really open it up and make you feel more confident. Another tool that you've seen me use, of course, is the gray side on this Pilot Fudayaku pin, and that's because starting with gray can be really, really helpful. So just in that same way, I'm going to start with this brush and just see what I can do. So I'm going to get it a little bit wet first before I even load it. I'm working on getting the footage much better and more clear and well lit when I do these types of tutorial videos. So any feedback that you have about it is very welcome. Okay, so I'm gonna start with one of these. This might be, oh shoot, now I don't remember which of these is which. Okay, no, this is this is Sumi, this is water soluble, and this is carbon. Wow. That was close. I think that's the case. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to see if this gray even works. This might even be two. I think there's still some powdered sugar mixed in. So I'm just going to paint like a big box here. And that might not even show up. It's so pale gray. Okay, that's fine. But I did learn that this brush is way wetter than I realized. Let me bring in my towel so you can see my toweling action a little bit here. It's hard to get the right balance with the light. Oh my gosh, who is that on Facebook that just said my motto is do what you suck at? That is really funny. I can't tell your name. I see Chrissy from Cornwall is here too. I'm gonna put this one up because I like that. Oh my gosh, that is such a great motto. I love that. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the next one up. See how this is probably still like too ridiculously pale. See, this brush could actually be a powerful thing in your kit. So like, I like this idea of sort of these background panels. They can be really useful for that sort of visual hierarchy that I'm always talking about. Ooh, that went up a value like way too fast. Oh, it's meta. Nice meta. Okay, so that was really interesting. So now I'm just gonna mess around. I see that this is still wet, so I'm just gonna drop some of this in and see what happens. Whoa, it's drier there. Ooh, that looks cool. There's some cool granulation in this ink. I'm surprised. Oh, I should write down that this is carbon. Carbon. See, if you're really like technical, you would write down notes of like every single different thing. So I should remember the name of this brush and the size, but I don't right now. Um, I'm just gonna write brush. I think it's actually like one of the real like chipmunk eyebrow hair brushes or something. Or maybe it's like um yeah, something like that. Okay, so I think I'm ready to draw now with this gray here. I wish I had something in between these two. I think the brush is always like way thirstier than I realize these two. I wish I knew what number brush this was. Wash. Okay, so now I'm gonna look for a second. I'm gonna maybe dry this out a little bit, and then I'm gonna try to actually do a drawing with this. So what I'm gonna do is here, I'll tilt it. I'm not going to be drawing the same perspective on this bone that you see. If you're working from home, I'm going to leave a couple other things here in case you want to draw those. You're probably wondering what I use this for. This is for when I get ink splashed in my nose and I have to suck it out. Then I use this and stick it in my nose and suck. It's made for sucking out baby snot, but it works on adults too, especially when you get ink stuck in your nose. So I'll leave a couple of these things here for you that if you're drawing at home and need something that you're gonna quick sketch or whatever, I'll put a couple things here for your um, drawing pleasure. Hopefully that's like a cool angle. Yeah, the Q-tips are for when I get ink in my ear also. Very helpful. Very handy. I just actually went through an entire 200 pack. Okie dokie. So I'm going to actually try to draw now. So I'm going to dry the brush off a little bit. That's one thing I'm going to do for sure. So that I can get more of a sketchy effect, I think. I think there's something about the holding of a brush like this that is sort of hard for. I have some wrist injuries, and for some reason, it seems like there's certain drawing tools that I can get away with, like not noticing this sort of repetitive motion injury flare up. And then there's other drawing tools that it seems like even if I draw with them for just a small amount of time, my wrists start to hurt a lot. So that's one of those other things, like when I sort of deconstructed what it means to suck at something, I mentioned that I do think there are certain innate limitations. So, despite my belief in the growth mindset, I'm not delusional about the fact that there are differences between people. And I think that there can be, certain art supplies that somehow resonate with something inside of someone that they're born with. However, I think most of it is practice. And, but like going back to my wrist injury, I think there are certain things that maybe about the way that you hold a pencil or the way that you hold a brush and something about um, health history or your body history, there could be certain drawing tools that just work better for you. And regardless of all of that, I think that sometimes just practicing being aware of what those are and how real they are, and then also sometimes, when possible, recognizing like the benefits of potentially pushing yourself into some of those. All right, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use this ink wash the way I would draw this with like charcoal or graphite and sort of build up the values little by little. So we'll see how that works. Usually with this kind of brush, I want to just do like big, crazy, huge, fun stuff right away. But that's not what I'm going to do right now. Okay, I should write big brush here. So you can see that this brush still holds so much in it. Well, maybe not that much, but there's still a lot. Like I could keep drawing with the tip of this brush for a long time, it feels like. So that's pretty cool. That's not exactly what I was expecting. And I think we'll soon see that when we get to the dip pins, you definitely cannot draw for this long without having to reload ink. But yeah, like and I dried it out a while and then I did all of this. That's a pretty cool, I should make a note of that. Holds ink long time, and you can write with it too. Cool. Okay. In the meantime, I'm just gonna use a little bit more of this ink to start another drawing, and I'm gonna do it on top of here. And I'm just gonna this time I'm just gonna draw the whole sort of outline of this mandible. This is a way you can make toned paper too. Like look at the way that this is, I'm starting on this gray base or this down here. You can make a big wash with ink. You would want to use the waterproof one or with watercolor, and you can paint a whole big area and basically make an area of toned paper in your sketchbook. That's something that I was kind of into, that type of idea for a while. Okay, now I'm going to do the same over here, but with that foot. Yeah, that foot. It's sort of in a different position for me. It's in a different position for me than it is for you. Okay, let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Barely gonna fit on the page. Don't you love it when that happens? No, into the cracks. That's the kind of thing that used to freak me out. I'd be thinking about that for the next 15 minutes, maybe. Don't let those kind of things unsettle you. Especially when you're nature journaling in the field, it's like having the ability to just not be phased by little things that happen on your page or to your drawing and just be like, okay, doesn't matter, keep going. I feel like as artists or nature journalers, our sort of mental game can be the make or break Like what art tool you're actually using doesn't end up being the most important thing. Okay, so that's sort of one of these feet from an angle, and maybe I'll do since I have all this ink on here, I might as well use it. So I'm going to do another bone shape here. And I'm going to draw this. I have the tarantula molt over here. Tarantulas are really good models for drawing. It's basically like the classic your hand as a model. Tarantula is very similar to your hand. So once you get bored of drawing your hand a million times for art classes, you can draw a tarantula. It's like the same thing, except it has 8 fingers and lots of fur usually. Okay, so I'm going to come back here. This one's dry enough. I'm going to go in and see if I can make it a little bit darker, and I'm going to zoom in while I do this a little bit more. So I want to get this thing so I can make like every time I zoom in or something, I can make like a special sound effect go off. Let me know in the comments if you think that would be cool. That if I had like custom sound effects that can go at different parts in the video. Like I could have one for the lightning round when I do interviews, and then I could push the button and it would just make like a cool lightning sound in the background. Let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea. All right, so I'm going to go up to my next darkest one. So my next darkest one is pure black. So I'm going to make this a 3-value drawing. So I'm going to go to pure black now. This is still all carbon ink. I'm going to go to pure black, and I'm just going to put it, I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to do this, but I'm going to try to just put it mostly on the very tip. And then I'm going to go in here and look for my darkest dark spots. Geez, it kind of almost feels like it's a 2-value, should have been a 2-value drawing, but that's okay. This is the part that feels really awkward to me. Going with the straight black. Guess I'm still kind of like nervous about going straight to black, and I just end up outlining everything sometimes. And this is making an annoying noise. It's hard for me to hold a stable hand with the brush for this kind of thing. I think this is where my wrist injury comes in, or I don't know how to hold it correctly or something. Okay, this is actually dark all the way to here. So I'm not thinking that this is really adding to it. I think it was better before, but that's fine. Or I could have just done it all the solid black in one go. See what I'm saying? Oh, I can't tell what's going on there. That probably should have been a drawing with just 2 values, because I'm finding myself just going over a lot of the grays. Ugh, that sucked. Okay, next one. When it sucks, keep going faster. What I should be doing is I should probably be using like white in here somewhere. Maybe I'll add the white. Let me see if I can use, I think this is the white pencil. Oh no, I'm using colored pencil. Tell the Inktober police. It looks like it's not going to work. Maybe it's still too wet. Dang it, the Inktober gods knew that I was trying to use something besides ink. Okay. Back to this. What about white ink? White acrylic ink. See, there's probably things that I could learn if I did this more just as a practice. there's probably things I can learn, but what I don't like is the way I have to use my wrist when I'm holding it up like this. It's almost like my wrist starts to shake a little bit. Definitely can't draw this way all day. There's something different that I'm doing. I'm not sure what it is, but there's something, I think I'm holding it more up this way and instead of more resting on my hand. For some reason that hurts my wrist. Okay, so dang, I'm really choking up on the brush here. I think that's what it's called, like when you choke up on a baseball bat and hold it closer to the front. I'm obviously not a baseball expert. Okay. I'm gonna do the cast shadow too. Sometimes it's kind of dangerous to do the cast shadow, but interesting. Why is this one coming out better than the other one? The ink lasted for a long time. This is definitely an economical way to draw if you just get a brush and just get a huge thing of ink like that. It's way more economical than like buying these things. But the portability factor, I wouldn't be able to do this with this whole thing out in the field. I mean, it would be possible, but it definitely wouldn't be ideal. I wouldn't be able to do it standing up. So I'd be way less mobile. I'd be worrying so much about this, it would be harder for me to pay attention to nature. Okay, so I think that might be cool with this. I'm going to try the small brush next. So I'm going to clean this off pretty well. Maybe I'll be back for a little bit. Sometimes when you're cleaning, when you don't have to waste all of this ink. Like if you have another sketchbook on the side, you could be using this ink to like create borders. So like for example, if I was trying to clean this brush off and I wasn't planning on using it again, but then I noticed that it still has color on it, I could use it for like painting borders or painting something in the front of one of my other sketchbooks, like on the entry page, because you can kind of do just cool patterns like that. That's a really good way to kind of like fill pages. If you have like a bunch of blank pages or at the beginning or at the end of a book, a journal that you never finished, um, or some empty pages in the middle, you can just go through and like test things like that. All right, let's see. I kind of want to use my hair dryer, but then some of the stuff is just going to blow off my table, I think. Um, so maybe I could draw in this area that's still um, okay. If you're drawing from home, I'm going to move some of these items around so you have a couple new things to sketch from different perspectives. And I'm going to switch drawing tools, and I think I'm going to use the hair dryer just a little bit and hopefully not blow everything away. So I'll mute here. Doing watercolor and ink and stuff like this is a good excuse to have a hairdryer in your studio. Oh yeah, Marilyn's making a good point about how you can angle, like my other drawing table is angled like this, and that can be better for the wrist. That's a really good point. Thanks for pointing that out. Oh, I've never tried those blocks of ink before. I've been thinking about trying some more messy techniques in the field and seeing like what's actually possible. Okay, so gonna keep going here and draw with, I'm gonna use a smaller brush now, see what I can do with this. So this one is a size 6. I used to kind of remember what all the different sizes meant, but I don't really anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna go to carbon again, and I'm gonna go straight to this one. So this is a Da Vinci 6 round Cosmo top. Feeling pretty wet. So that's fun, but I don't know about actually drawing with it. Maybe I should just do more like that kind of drawing. Geometric stuff. All right, I'm ready for a second Thai iced tea. All right, now I'm going to draw, let's see, I'm going to draw some of this plant right here. So I'll bring it into view so you can, at home, draw some of it also. This is like the most expensive plant I ever bought. It was for my birthday. I think for my birthday last year. Is that right? No, my birthday the year before last. Okay, what's a good position for it? That's probably fine, right? Seems darker, like it got darker now. Okay, so I am going to draw this plant, or at least pretend to quickly practice with the drawing tool that I suck at. I'm curious to know in the comments, what drawing tools do you suck at, or are you less experienced with? Which are the drawing tools, specifically ink drawing tools, since it's technically Inktober? Which are the tools that you sort of aren't that experienced with or not used to? Okay, now I'm gonna draw another leaf coming in like this, I think. You definitely can't like go back with this. But one thing I'm really enjoying is the ability to use gray. I think I just really like drawing with gray. Gray ink. Very nice. I should write that I'm using the small. This ink is gonna last forever. I poured out way more, way more than I realized. Like way too much. That's the thing with this kind of stuff. You end up always thinking you need more. It seems like to me. But like I said, there's those things you can, ornamental things you can do on some of your old pages. It can be a fun thing to do instead of just pour it out. I wonder if that like powdered sugar or whatever flour that was on the mochis is like affecting the ink, because I think I see some. granulation that might not just be from the ink. Okay, so, oh yeah, I was gonna write number 6, Da Vinci Cosmotop. How can you really name your company Da Vinci? I mean, geez. Just associate your art supply company with the most like well-known artist ever. Seems like if you're gonna do that, you better at least have some like really quality stuff. Okay, now I'm going to the straight black. See what I'm not doing. The thing I think that I might need to do to get better at some of these techniques is just really develop my ability to see spot blacks and like, oops, I did the wrong side of the leaf there. My ability to see these like dark spots. Maybe I should just push that right now and see like how I should probably be like observing a subject that is lit in a very dramatic way and then focusing on catching and capturing those simple shapes and then graduating to more subtle lighting and objects that are harder or yeah harder to distinguish the value shapes. And if you look at comic book artists, a lot of times they're really good at that part. That's one of the things that I talked about with Mark Simmons on that recent interview from Wednesday. So yeah, I sort of oversimplified all of these darks. And anyways, that's fine. Okay, I think I'm gonna do dip pins next. Or maybe I'll use Q-tips. Have you ever drawn with Q-tips before? Wow, those mochis are way too sweet. Okay. Q-tip time. So you can do basically the same thing with the Q-tip's good for drawing faster, and I think it's good for figure drawing. And if your paint is or your paper is at an angle, then you can just draw pretty easily, almost as if you're drawing with a piece of charcoal. Well, I still have to do these two things as well. Let me put them up there so I don't forget. Okay, so I'm going to start with a little bit of water and take this one. And now I'm going to work on drawing this orchid. Okay, so I'm just going to start with well, maybe I'll do the leaves too. I'm trying to get this more lit, but I don't think I can really. Here we go. This orchid kind of has the perfect shapes that if you play around with it for a while and get it lit in just the right way, you could, I like drawing with this so much better than drawing with a dip pen. This subject is also really good. And what I was saying is that with this orchid, if you just set this up in the right way, you could probably get really clear, easy to understand shadows to practice doing those like more extreme sort of spot blacks and just practicing seeing value, because it has these pretty regular shapes, well-defined bits of light and darkness. So this one curves up like that, and then it comes underneath like that. And then these roots come out. Similar to tarantulas, orchids are one of those things that everybody should have in their homes. And it's just, especially if you nature journal, it's such a perfect thing to draw, and like it's really good for drawing with techniques that you might not feel super in control with, because a lot of the shapes on the orchid are gonna they're gonna read, even if you don't get a super realistic or accurate proportions. It's gonna read, and that's motivating and confidence building. And it's also, pretty in terms of being able to make ornamental art that people can kind of easily recognize and appreciate. And as soon as you learn how to like not overwater them, most of the orchids, I mean, a lot of the orchids that are for sale are really easy to keep. But I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir, and most of you probably already know that. Okay, now I'm starting to run into this previous drawing. So sometimes I'm trying to get better. When I was a kid, this would have freaked me out so much. I would have never done this. I would have moved on from this page and wasted like 10 other pages also with like hardly any drawings on them. But I'm trying to get better at just going over other drawings. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how much more I like. I guess this was kind of fun, but there's something about drawing with this, and I think it's just the way that I can hold it and I can push back and forth. I like drawing tools that are multi-directional. I mean, I love brushes, but I feel like with the brush, you have to always be like leading it in a certain direction, whereas this, you can kind of just scratch it back and forth. And I know that can be a bad drawing habit, or supposedly bad drawing habit, but for me, having a omnidirectional drawing tool just feels like more fun. Okay, let's see if I can fit one more root in, or should I go straight into what am I going to do here? Maybe I should come in with the dip pen and try to do like hatching. Hatching is one of the things that I suck at. Okay, so I'm going to write Q-tip over here. Look, you can even do calligraphy with the Q-tip. Q-tip, it's still carbon ink. Everyone will ask you how you achieved that calligraphy, and then you get to tell them that it was a Q-tip. Okay, I'm gonna get another Thai iced tea and be right back. Okay, so I think I like this one so much that I've gotten precious with it, and I'm not going to do anything more on it. Like, I'm not going to go into this right now, so it's fine. I'm being self-aware about it, and I am going to move on, and I'm going to use some dip pins. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this stick. You probably saw the video where I drew completely with this stick. Or another similar stick. They sell these for $10.99 at the art store, and it's sharp on both sides. It's biodegradable. You can also use it for other things. I was using it for applying glue on a little craft project, and you can also use it for cleaning underneath your fingernails and stuff like that. So multi-purpose tool. You can put it in your hair if you have enough, and you can draw with it. So I guess I will start with just this water soluble wash, because I don't want to waste it. Normally I would probably I would probably put this, let's see here. Normally, I would probably use this dipped straight into the ink, and I might do that in a second, but since I have this ink here, I'm going to use it, and I'm going to use the Sumi ink. I'll start with writing. Oh yeah, look at how it starts so heavy and then it ends up with so little. Definitely compared to all the other tools I've used so far, way worse in that department in terms of how long it holds the ink for. Sharpened. I don't like this tip either. The tip is very uneven. I usually try to make somewhat of a spatula tip, but I think this stick was has a pithy center, so that's not ideal if you're using a stick to draw. You don't want something that has a pithy center because that center is softer, and then it just leaves this spot where it breaks out, and it's annoying. The best type of drawing that I could do with this would be like to find like a Leonardo da Vinci anatomical drawing and then just try to copy his hatching, for example. So I'm going to pretend like I'm doing that. I wish I knew. Ooh, this might make some really messed up sounds. Let me know in the comments if the sounds get weird from this drawing tool. I think I'm going to try the other tip. It's kind of sucking. Or maybe I need to dip it into a larger thing of ink. Okay, yeah, that's not working. Okay, we're gonna go straight to the source, and this is where you can have make a big boo-boo, big mess in your house. Do not let your cat jump up on your crafting table when you have an open bottle of ink anywhere nearby. And your partner or other members of your family might actually be more likely to be the ones that end up knocking it over. But so hatching has never been one of my strong points. Just think that they used to pretty much all of their drawing tools, all of their ink drawing tools would have been like this, where you have to constantly be recharging it. And just how, I mean, at least for me, I end up with these places that are, well, as soon as I start getting used to it being dry, then I dip it in and it ends up being so full of ink. Kind of looks like a human arm. Okay, now I'm gonna look at the orchid. Or no, let me look at, here, I'll look at this. It's probably a good subject to. I like it once it starts getting dry. That's like my favorite part. Then I can push it and pull it. Oh, I should write Sumi ink. That, by the way, takes forever to dry when you can see that it's beaded up. Oh my goodness, I almost put that ink into my mouth. I was reaching, this is really bad. My drink and my left hand is next to my drink and my ink pot. Okay, I'm moving this way over here. That was not cool. Also, I think because I'm multitasking, filming and talking and drawing at the same time, I actually started lifting this up as if it were my drink. Not good. I also recommend you don't use the same cups for tea that you use for the dirty ink water. Awesome. Jose is here. Okay. I am going to now draw the I'm going to draw let's see. I'm going to draw these roots with the straight stick. Or I could draw on top of this. Maybe that's the way I could ruin this. Okay, so remember how I said I was really precious about this before? So I'm going to try not to be precious and do something that is good to do every once in a while. You don't have to do it all the time, but every once in a while it is good to sort of ruin one of those drawings or potentially ruin, but I also, there's a chance that it will come out like amazing and I'll learn something new. So I'm going to go for it with doing the stick dip pin on top of this Q-tip wash. I wonder if anyone has ever done a drawing combining those two tools before. And so I'm going to be even more crazy and try to use hatching. Maybe I should just like take a class on hatching. Maybe that's the way. Oh, now I don't even remember. Oh, I'm going straight in. That's right. Okay. Whoops, that one, I used different ink for that one. Sometimes there is a way to, when you know you're going to have this really heavy bit of line, to pull that ink into other places or intentionally put it somewhere where you think you're going to use a lot. Whoa. So I think this probably with the Inktober police would count as an actual Inktober, whereas some of my other ones, I think, where I just maybe use the Pilot Fudayaku pin or some other sort of felt tip brush pin type thing, might not count for the purists. But this has got to count. Whoa, okay. Hatching over previous hatching when you're trying to get that like really clean look is probably a bad idea. Definitely don't want all my line weight to look the exact same. Hey, when I look at it on the screen, it actually looks all right. Not that bad. Knock on wood. Probably shouldn't say things like that in the middle of my drawing. Sometimes it's fun just to use hatching and not use outline. I think I have issues with outlining everything. Unresolved outline issues. Whoa, like I want to outline everything when I draw. Leonardo da Vinci wrote some stuff about how things in the real world do not have lines around them. but that when people draw, they want to put lines around everything. I recently listened to a biography of Leonardo da Vinci by Walter Isaacson on audio, and it was really good. Whoops. This part of the leaf is kind of like dead. And then there is a line through it. And a line down this one too. Okay, I'm starting to get precious with it now. It's a bad sign. Okay, cool. That worked out actually. All right, I'm surprised. That's amazing. Maybe it's because this subject. So like I've been saying is it's good to recognize to yourself when you're drawing a subject that is challenging, because then you know, like, okay, it might not just be me and I'm not sucking, but this is actually a challenging subject to draw or paint or whatever for some technical reason. But there's also subjects that are easy, I think, and lend themselves to sort of easy drawing. This might even be one of them too. So like certain really simple bone structures can be really easy and really recognizable to draw, and also certain things that have a lot of leeway. So anyways, I think that is a good example of something where you're drawing like this. I'm not going to get too happy with myself because I partially know that this subject made it a little bit easier for me to apply some of these techniques. Okay, now I'm going to go into fit something up here. So the thing I haven't done yet is the dip pins. So and the toothbrush. So I also haven't used the snot sucker yet, but I will get there. I promise. Especially since I drank 2 of these Thai teas back to back. So I have enough energy between the Thai tea and the mochis to pound this out. So I got 2 of these dip pins, and I'm going to go straight into, I think I'm going to use the carbon ink, and then I'll just make sure that I clean them pretty well afterwards. Oh, cool. It looks like Turquoise Sky 1 is here. Welcome, Turquoise Sky 1. Dropping some knowledge in the chat there. Okay, so I am going to close the one up that I'm not using so that my cat does not jump up here and spill it. Just kidding. I don't have a cat. I still haven't totally figured out what the heck that thing in the middle is for. Ooh, there's still a lot of wet ink here. I need to be careful not to get on me. I still haven't quite figured out what that thing in the middle there is for. I thought it was maybe for the fountain pen to somehow rest into, but I'm no longer so sure. Okay, what subject am I drawing now? I guess I've drawn most of these already, except for this one. Oh, it looks like these want to come apart. It's a jawbreaker. Okay, I will draw this one. I drew it already, but I think it'll be fun. Okay, I want to do some hatching, or try to. So let's see here. Where am I not going to get ink on myself? Oh, flame it or brush it with toothpaste. Okay, what if I use, can I just use a lighter? Yes, just in the nick of time. Turquoise Sky 1 to the rescue. Can I use a lighter? All right. I'm just going to, in the meantime, while I'm waiting. Yes, okay, I can use a lighter. All right, any excuse to light a fire on the Nature Journal show is always cool with me. So here we go. So children who are watching at home, I know there's a whole lot of you under 18 out there. Please ask your parents before using a lighter. Hopefully it doesn't melt the plastic pin holder. On that note, I should probably get something to pull this out with. I got this really cool channel lock here. Don't overcook the metal. Oh no. Okay, I'll dip into water. Is it bad if the water's boiling when I dip it into the water? Okay. Luckily this was like the $1.75. Oh, it melted the plastic, I think. Okay. Now I'm gonna do the next one. This time I'm not gonna use the plastic thing to hold it. Whoa. Dip it in the water. Maybe that's why I had bad luck with these things before. All right, cool. Let's do this. Okay, now I should just put my oil on. Now I should just put my oily fingers all over here now, right? José está preguntando por qué se calienta la pluma. Mi amiga que está mirando el show me acaba de decir que tienen una cobertura de aceite o algo encima que se tiene que quitar o con pasta para dientes o también calentando la pluma así con un poco de fuego. Entonces parece que ya se quitó la cobertura de aceite, ojalá. Yo creo que el aceite es hidrofóbico o algo. Entonces la tinta no se pega a la pluma. Jose's tuning in from Argentina. Okay, that's Maryland. That's what I thought, but for some reason it seems like it has like holes in it, so it doesn't really keep the ink level high, and I'm also so afraid of tipping the whole ink bottle over. Let me just put this down first. There's something about tipping the ink bottle over that just freaks me out. Okay. See, it doesn't actually, on mine, on this carbon ink, it doesn't actually make the ink level in there that much higher. There's just like a huge ink bubble. It's kind of annoying. All right, anyways, here we go. Let's draw this bone. Okay. If you could see drips of sweat coming off of my forehead right now. Just like there's drips of ink coming off of this dip pen. And I think this is going to be a huge line, so I'm just going to actually do it up here in my ornamental area. Oh, good thing I used it in my ornamental area, because yeah, that puts down a fat line. I don't know if that's exactly what I want for the sketch of this bone. But ooh, that is fun. It kind of like the Fude Demonin, but I haven't used dip pens since I fell in love with the Fude Demonin, and so maybe my time with Fude Demonin has prepped me to yeah, get back into dip pens. I think I like gave all of mine away when I decided that the only tools I was going to use for the rest of my life were the John Muir Laws watercolor palette, the Pentel large aqua brush. Oh my gosh, I almost spilled the whole tray of ink. And like one of those mechanical pencils or Pilot Fudayaku pens. And then I got rid of like hundreds of colored pencils, Prismacolor markers, and all of this stuff because I was like, I don't need all this art supply stuff. Got rid of oil paints, acrylics, canvases. But I think sometimes it's good to like get rid of extra art supplies. Wow, this one's lasting for a long time. This is the B5 nib. Oh, it's a, I think it's a like, wait, no, the other one was speed roller. B5 nib with carbon ink. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna write hashtag Inktober Nature Journal. Don't tell the Inktober police. Whoa. Whoa, 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 buddy. That is a lot. While I was at the art store, there's this little kid looking at all of this ink stuff. Inktober Nature. And he was like getting all excited about all this ink stuff. And then his grandpa came up behind him and he's like, ink is cool, but it makes such a big mess. And then like gently pushed him towards the colored pencil section. And I was like, part of me wanted to go over and be like, no, let him have ink. Oh no, I put it in the fire for too long. Oh, calligraphers use a brush and paint the ink on the nib. Thank you. We do have some good professionals in attendance. Okay, now I'm going to switch from this. So I guess this is rollerball, even though I don't see the part where it says that on here anymore. Is that what you said? Rollerball, speedball, round speedball, 5 nib round speedball. Speedball sounds like some movie from the early 90s where it's like people in neon leg warmers and tights in like a post-apocalyptic future are like fighting for their lives in some kind of weird game with balls, speedballs. I don't know, that's just kind of what it brings to my mind. Okay, now I'm gonna try the other one. And I know I should clean this off. I'll dip it in water at least. Okay, so here's this one. This one is a Hunt Globe bowl pointed 513 EF. Da da da. Oh shoot. This probably has a number that I don't know. Unless 513 EF maybe is the number. Okay. So I'm going to use this one to draw the bone. Okay. Let's see here. Kind of want this angle a little bit stronger. There we go. Ooh, fun. Scratchy. Could probably do some ASMR videos with ink pens scratching on paper. Well, maybe people don't like the sound of that scratchy stuff. Whoa, I think that's the shape. Whoa, didn't know that was gonna just drip out there suddenly. Shoot. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is turn this into my hatching right now. Remember, nature journaling makes talking to yourself socially acceptable again. It's scientifically proven to help your observation if you talk to yourself. And which way should I make these? Oh, okay, I need more. Oh no, I'm afraid it's gonna like come out all crazy again. I should probably just practice hatching like every single day, even if it. Oh, I know I'm not supposed to do it straight across like that. Dang it. Yeah, I should just like take a class or just do some highly repetitive hatching exercise every single day at 5 a.m. after I drink my butter, coffee, collagen, green tea, antioxidant, superfood drink. Can I do pointillism? I mean, can I do what's it called? Stippling. Stippling. What a great word. One thing that isn't great is that hatching right there. Okay, so I'm just gonna draw this one because um, I don't remember. Oh shoot! Now I'm not gonna be able to tell which is which. Okay, I'll draw a line around it. This is the kind of, if you're a real Inktober, this is what you have to draw with. So I'm just gonna draw the thing. Then it goes to like this shape. And it's like 70% that big, 75%. %25 smaller than this. With carbon ink. Carbon ink. Okay, so I want to do more. What I want to do with this is pressing down on the. You have to hold to roll that a little flatter. Okay. I will make some more marks with this. And oh, that must be what you're talking about with the thicker lines. So maybe I need to be like pulling more directly. Oh, look at that. That's not what I want, I don't think. So maybe I shouldn't have done that. That's the snot thing. Oops. The ink on this one definitely does not last for as long. All right. I think that's good for dip pen. The last thing I'm going to do is sprinkle, play with a couple, play with this. So this is my opportunity to make everything messy. Move your computer and small children out of the way before you do this. And ooh. Oh, okay. Good to know. I'm going to share this comment. Look how realistically I drew these bones and stuff here. Pretty sweet, huh? Just kidding. They're the real things on the paper. Okay, so what I'm going to do is instead of wasting some of my like ink washes that I set up over here, I'm going to, oh, I need to take that out and remember to clean that. Both of those. So what I'm going to do, and this is a good thing, I'm going to get another journal too to show you. Because this is the perfect thing to do with this extra ink. See, here we go. So I have these are the like starting pages from the last, if you're one of my Patreons and you saw me do the whole journal share on this, or if you tuned in for the live. But if I have the extra like ink wash, I can go and do these fronts. Like this could be a journal that I haven't started yet, or like see these back pages. Well, I still need to index that one. Shoot. I can do like, I can use some of this ink wash. So what I'm going to do, and I used to wear gloves. I should probably wear a glove for this, or if I just had a finger glove, that would be perfect. But I don't. I'll put finger gloves on my Amazon wish list in case you want to donate to the show. Just kidding. I don't really need those. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and even probably this water that I like clean my brushes with probably has enough to do something. But I think I'm going to take so ideally I have like a test area over here. But I don't. So I'm going to draw this right here, this claw. Just kidding. Maybe I don't suck at the toothbrush. This is the art tool that I should use and dedicate the rest of my artistic career to. I can feel it. Something about the toothbrush and the craftsmanship of this drawing utensil just resonates with my inner artist in such a way that I could create forever and inspire others by my commitment to a single art technique. Sometimes it's hard to tell when you're done. Oh, come on, the light. Sorry about the lighting. It should be better. Sometimes it's hard to tell when you're done when you're using this technique. That's why at the dentist, they have a little timer thing that you turn it on, and while you're making art, you know how long to go for, and then you stop when the timer's done. Don't forget to floss also. So then now I can just put this aside while this one is drying. pick up my other one. You could also use these to create sort of like these toned backgrounds on other pages so you don't have to waste all that extra ink. Sometimes just a little bit of this can look really cool. It'll definitely get you Inktober bonus points. People will like your Inktober posts on Instagram better if you have like splash ink everywhere. You could just do it everywhere, but I guess I'm kind of putting it there so it almost looks like soil. All right, so that was the prompt for day 17. Use an ink tool you aren't used to. Remember, this is not officially sponsored or trademarked or copyrighted or anything. So this is actually just for fun. And today was use an ink tool you aren't used to. Tomorrow is subterranean. Thank you so much for joining in on the show today. Everybody that was here watching the live, I appreciate you so much. Let's nature journal together soon. Recovering Soul, Turquoise Sky, Jose, Marilyn, who else was on here? Whole bunch of people joined in. Thank you for all your expertise. Jean, Marilyn, and a couple people on Facebook, including, I'm going to end the show with this from Meta. Do what you suck at. That is such a great motto. We talked a little bit about the nature journaling tools that I think I suck at and what that means when we deconstructed it. Practiced a little bit with things we're not used to, had some fun, ate some mochis, and did some ink. So I hope you're doing the prompts, or at least you're doing some sort of art every single day this month. It's such a good practice, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Thanks for joining in. New episode coming on Wednesday. Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye.